Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for being with us again today. We're so excited to be back, be on the air, be live, basically. We will be on your station very soon after this taping. Hope you like our new background, and I have a new format for our Face Facts, and people will love it. So if you are not a part of this prayer network, it's so simple. All you have to do is contact me and say, Faye, I want to be a part of your network. You don't have to be a major Bible scholar. You don't have to pray in the Spirit 5 hours a day or 7 times a week. You just have to care, number one, about our country, because we are focused as a prayer network. We're merging prayer and patriotism. We've been doing it since the late 80s. And I was one of the first prayer ministries in America that brought forth issues of the day. I had to study. Phyllis Schlafly was my mentor. I had to figure out what this country was about, who ran it. I never knew. That's why I offer to all of our intercessors, it's a must-have congressional directory for this year, and you can go on our website and order it, or you can call our 800 number and make a donation of $100. In this book is the name of every governor of the United States. We anoint them with oil and pray over them. So many of the governors now are communist-based. They're keeping their states controlled. They're making laws that's not constitutional. They're forcing demands on people, shutting down businesses. They're literally keeping people, they're destroying people in nursing homes. They are so mixed up, and the reason they're that way is because God's people has sat down. We backed off and we just said, let the other crowd have it. We can't do that anymore. I need to hear from you today. Say, Faye, I'm going to make a $100 donation in this program. Call your 800, just write a check to Insight USA, mail it to the address on the screen, tax deductible, and we will get you a correct congressional directory right away. We need people to stand in the gap for our country. I know God can turn it around. The issues of today are so vital. My friends, you have to pay attention. I know this program is boring, and I know that you turn it on and you wish there was a praise song or a prophecy coming forth to relax you and make you be comfortable and everything. That's not what we're about. We are about information, and God says information is power. So pretend you're in school for the next few minutes, that God is sending you back to school to learn, because that's what you're going to do by watching our program. I spend hours researching and trying to find out facts that just don't knock you down. I'm in the media. I'm one of the few Spirit-filled believers that deals with issues and knows what to do with them from the spiritual standpoint in television, on the internet, and on Facebook. I need everybody that believes America can be saved to join me. But if you don't believe America is in trouble, then you don't believe. You're standing with the crowd that's doing everything in their power to take over our government, to take over our own lives. One of the things that we're dealing with right now is spying on the American citizen. That's what communists do. And I'm going to be dealing with that in the next segment. You do not want to miss what I'm going to be telling you. But one of the things that I did on last week's show was tell you how the federal government is not doing any oversight. Federal agencies are selling our oil fields to China and Japan by the thousands of acres. And federal committees, not committees, I'm sorry, federal agencies are approving those sales. Bureaucrats we didn't elect, we don't even know, and it does not make the media. In the Permian Basin, where I have so many partners, and I was on in that area for 11 years on God's Learning Channel. I educated Texas. I prayed for the oil to come back. It was a destitute place when Al and Tommy Cooper, the late Al and Tommy, brought me to Midland, Texas. They had come to a conference I had in Florida about Israel, and they asked me if I would be a programmer on their station in Midland, Texas. I'd never heard of Midland, Texas. And I had closed down my show here because my daily television because of finances. The lady had promised me a large sum of money she was getting from the sale of property that she had inherited, and it fell through. I had depended on that. Big mistake. So I had to cut back, and one of the things I lost was my daily television program across the state of Florida. But I stayed in prayer. I stayed in, my network was strong from one end of Florida to the other. A strong network. The churches, I was evangelizing all over the state. So I stayed dedicated to God with the call of God without television. But it was not long till I went to the NRB, and I was walking across the hotel where they were having the shows, and I heard a little voice, a little lady. She wasn't this big. I know you, Faye Hardin, cowboy hat, her husband, cowboy hat, everybody in the booth, cowboy hats. And I'd been through Texas, and I had done singles ministries in Houston, Texas before. But basically, that's all I knew about Texas, and that's the only time I had ever been. They had seen me on Jewish Voice with the report that I brought back when I had been to Israel that year one time, sharing what was going on in Israel that people didn't know in the United States, and they remembered me. That's how I met that couple, that for 11 years, my program was on 4 to 5 times a week. I went once a month for a 2-hour live program with them, and I set up a network in Texas and New Mexico that we still have through the power of prayer for America. Their vision was Israel, but mine had become America. And the voice of America went out through God's Learning Channel across the state of Texas and New Mexico. They went from getting behind on one small satellite to 16 debt-free the 11 years I was there. I would just show up and we would raise the money they needed for whatever they needed. And their ministry began to reach the world debt-free. That happened until a couple of years ago, and it changed. But God did not want me to stop television. So one of my partners wrote, actually she put it on her credit card, $6,000 for me to go and start my own program here in Florida. And I began to work toward that end. We started in a little old place. I mean, my show was so pathetic, but it was on the air and people were watching it. My intercessors were supporting me and backing me. But over time, it grew. And God gave me a production company that's one of the best in America as a mission. I'm a missionary to them. So the Lord has kept us in the media, and many times I didn't think we would make it. I refused to go in debt. I said, if the people don't want this program, then they won't get it, because we keep the prayer ministry first and foremost. And in Texas, those oil fields, I began to say through television, you need to go anoint your oil fields with oil. God gave it to you. He gave you the oil. H.W. Bush had shut down the oil fields of Texas and transferred America's oil to Saudi Arabia. He shut down his own state and oil so that Saudi Arabia could send us oil. And the Bushes are going to have something to answer for what they did. But they're not bigger than God. And my people began to anoint their oil wells with oil. One lady sent me a check for $25,000, and she said, Faye, I was making $400 a month till you told me to go anoint my oil wells. I did exactly what you said, and the oil began to gush. It has gushed from that date to now. And I'm telling you right now, selling our oil fields to China is not the American way. Today, I want you to know they're not only selling our oil fields to China, federal agencies, bureaucrats. That's why you got to know who they are. That's why you got to know who's on these committees. That's why these names have got to become real faces to you, because they cannot get away with this if you know the truth. I'm asking my Texas and New Mexico people to stand with me. Rise in Jesus' name and stand with me and take a stand against what is happening. Today, I want to show you the email that I just got. Efforts to restrict foreign ownership of U.S. farmland. Foreign investors acquired at least 1.6 million acres of U.S. agricultural land in 2016, the largest increase in more than a decade, according to a review by the Midwest Center of Investigative Reporting of the latest available federal data by Associated Press. They're not only selling our oil wells, they're selling our land. And in the face facts, which you have to get, because I can't cover all this in 25 minutes, this report is going to give you who they sold it to, and they're continuing, and what states they're selling the land. Federal bureaucrats, they have not done their job in years. These federal agencies need to be renounced. They need to go. And we need to send decisions back to the states where they can be watched by the people of those states. Communist governors and communist judges that are taking over because we have not paid attention, because we're not holding them accountable for actions they do not have the right to do, but they have the power. I need to hear from you guys, and I need your support. This ministry must financially be supported. I need for you to go to YouTube/Insight USA TV, register, and get our information and email it to other people. Get our weekly face facts, just a small monthly, become a monthly partner, and you'll be so educated and so informed, and you'll never be the same. Stand with me as I stand for America. Hi, everybody. Boy, our program goes so fast. We must stay in the media. We are right now, people are in demand, but it takes money. We have an unfreedom of the press. We have Nancy Pelosi headed to the presidency of the United States. We must abort this propaganda. I need for you right now to sit down and write that check. I got a $1,000 check because of our spot in our last program. People are saying, Faye, we want you to stay out there. Maybe you can't do 1,000, maybe you can do 100 or 50 or 25. One day I got a check for $5 and one for $3,000. Both of them touched me so much. I'm gonna tell you, you've got to do something. So today, just mail your check to Insight USA. It is tax deductible, and mail it today. Your best gift. Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope that you are enjoying our program. I am so excited to have our new viewers, our new intercessors, prayer warriors on Saturday. We are literally almost got every state involved in praying for America to the deliverance end. I believe God wants to deliver our country. I don't believe that we're prophesying what's going to happen because of anything that's going on now. I believe this pandemic was planned. That's what I believe. God didn't tell me that. But based on information I've got, it just shows that it was not a surprise to a lot of people. It was a surprise to the victims. But there were people, the scientists, that were already involved in this, already involved in the lab in China, giving them millions of dollars. It was no surprise to them. It was no surprise to Fossey. He actually spoke at Georgetown University and said there was a surprise coming in October of 2020. And people, we don't need to hate. We don't need signs. We just need to know the truth so that our destiny is not dictated by people who believe the communist way is the way for America to go. We don't believe that. The fact they believe it, that's their freedom. That's what people fought and died for. But we do not believe that. And our Congress hadn't done its job in years. And they have not, there's been almost no oversight. I showed you how they've sold our oil fields, no congressional oversight, federal bureaucrat. They're selling our farmland, they're selling it to foreigners, no oversight. There was no oversight with this pandemic that was headed our way, none. Nancy Pelosi hadn't been to work in, I think, around 2 to 3 months, and she sits home and criticizes the president who works 7 days a week. Where would we be without him? Don't buy their lies. Now, let me tell you what they're doing. Controlling us is what the communist governors want. Total control. They're making laws, rules that is not constitutional, but they're using, just like the communists do, they're using the police, they're using the military to force people to do what they're telling them to do just for the purpose that they told them to do it. Michigan, this feminist Jezebel governor, I told you to do it. If you don't do it, you're going to jail. That's not America. Michigan should rise up and impeach that governor in 24 hours. But see, we're civilized. These protesters, they've been trained to protest. They've been trained to fight. They've been trained to tear up. We have not. We've been taught, obey the laws of the land. The laws are based on the Constitution. The Constitution's based on biblical principles. And yet there's another move in this country. It's not more than us. It's just the media makes you think it's more than us. Well, what they've done now, and I shared this on our program last week or week before last, the bill that was in Congress, H.R. 6666, was introduced in the United States Congress, and it's called the TRACE, T-R-A-C-E Act. The purpose of the bill is to fund what I believe that this COVID-19 surveillance and contact trace, our God-given, unalienable constitutional rights. They want to trace all Americans. They want to put a tracer. You say, Faith, that does not make a bit of sense. It does not. They are using the pandemic. They are using the disease that I believe was man-made, created, planned for us to spy on us, to set the communist rule into play. I went to Russia 1 year 5 times. I want to tell you, communism is a pathetic control over people's lives. These people were healthy. They wanted to work. They were not allowed. They wanted to buy land. They wanted to make gardens. Not allowed. They wanted to be independent. Not allowed. Well, that's exactly where we've come to today. Through governors, not allowed to make the rules they're making over us, shut down businesses, put business people in jail and loose criminals. You tell me that we have a Congress that's overseeing in the best interest of the people. They're not. There's been no oversight by Congress, and we're paying them. They just gave themselves another $90 million. And you can say, hey, well, what about Trump? Forget Trump. I'm talking about the men and women that get paid to govern this country. They're governing it in their best interest. The governors, their own best interest. These judges, liberal, radical, Soloninsky mindset. They even had a Harvard professor that accused the Christians for being the reason for the virus pandemic. Can you believe it? Harvard professor. Let me show you what they're doing, and they're getting away with it. I cannot believe even Texas, your tax dollars are funding the tracing of the local citizens there, just like Obama, with using the courts to spy on American citizens. It literally, it's a criminal act, but up until now, they got away with it. Well, now they're pushing it down to all of us. So look at this. It says let me read this first. H.R. 6666. The word that was given to us is, finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against all forces of wickedness in heavenly places. And Governor Abbott's office today said, let me tell you what Governor Abbott did, because they're suing him. So it says, in closing, let's link the slippery slope of allowing MTX Group to have access to our public school children, as well as our citizens, when they have been very clear about where they are headed. MTX founded and chairman Dos Noble said MTX is currently working out a new artificial intelligence platform to cater to the medical industry. And what did Abbott do? I've got to find my, it says Texas pushes back on what Governor Abbott was doing. Governor Abbott has just given $295 million to the MTX Group, an Albany-based contact tracing technology company with second headquarters in Frisco, Texas. Governor Abbott is funding the tracing of Texas citizens by a group that was funded to trace the citizens in New York State and other areas of the country, which is totally a communistic move in this country. I was shocked that Governor Abbott would do this. They are suing him. So I want you to know, and in our Face Facts, you can get the complete report. It's a May the 28th issue, Contact Tracing by Lynn Davenport. And she said, we seem to be divided as a country when it comes to privacy, civil liberties, and the tracking and tracing of American citizens. You need the entire report. You need to understand the issues. And you need to tell your friends the truth. That's why we need you. We need you to join us to stand for the truth and America's deliverance. Hi, this is Faye. Our time goes so fast, but I need you to get involved. Our action teams are being organized across the United States, in every state. You matter. I just got an email that the alleged whistleblower decreed in 2017 he would take out Trump. We have a coup, and they have redesigned it to be an impeachment process and made it all the way to the Senate as a trial. You can't sit any longer and do nothing. I need for you to contact me, write me, and say, Faye, I'm going to join you. I need your donations. I have people who could give $1,000 today for America's sake. There's others that could give $100 a month. I need for you today to do it. We could expand our program if you would just hear from God and obey Him. My dear friends, we need your financial support. You need the knowledge that's coming through our ministry. I want to invite you to become a monthly partner with us, and whatever God allows you to give. But if God has blessed you and you believe that America can be and will be delivered. And you can write a check for $1,000. Will you do it today to help us raise up the most powerful intercessors network in this country? It is amazing. Every Saturday at 2 p.m., I do a briefing and conferencing call with intercessors nationwide, the most anointed prayer warriors in our country. The number is 712-432-0900. And you can email me at faye@usainsight@gmail.com for the access code. Please join us on Saturday. Unbelievable cause. The anointing is breaking through. People are getting healed, set free. They know each other, although they've never seen each other. It's my church, and it is amazing at the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. You need to get your face fax, and you can call the 800 number and ask them to send you the face fax. Make a donation, and if you want to partner with us after you receive it, all you get is a pledge card in your envelope. There's no pull for money. We're not going under if you do not support us, but we need partners. We're turning down access to the media for lack of funds. I want you to remember that the snare is broken and we are escaped. We have the YouTube /InsightUSA.us, where I do regular updates to keep you informed as to what's going on. Right now, there's a communist move to take over our country. We have black churches and black ministers that go with Democrats as though they are acceptable in God's eyes. If you do not believe in the murder of the unborn, and you do not believe in holiness, if you do not believe there's a God, then you vote Democrat. But if you believe there is a God, and He is a holy God, and America wants to be saved.
Faye wants to hear from you. Her desire to see America come out of exile is raising up one of the most powerful, informed, anointed, and united prayer networks in America for America. She is organizing Christians for the U.S. Constitution to give uncompromising believers back their voice and witness. If this program has blessed you and you believe in what Faye is doing, contact her, pray with and for her, partner with her. She would love for you to host an Insight rally in your church or city. Organize an Intercessors with Insight prayer team or join one. For a complimentary pocket-sized constitution or Faye's fax, call or email Faye. faye.usainsight@gmail.com. Write Insight USA, P.O. Box 917689, Longwood, Florida 32791.